Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka.
Here.
Councilman Accomando.
Here.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Here.
Councilwoman Mazur. Councilwoman Mazur is unable to be here this evening. Council President Garrett.
Here. Please rise for the flag salute and remain standing for a moment of silence for Planning Board member Dominic Mazzone. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by same may have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
Motion to open the meeting to the public.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes. Anyone wishing to address the council, please state your name and address.
Good evening, everyone. Tom's Medical, 128 Lincoln Avenue, Saddlebrook. Just wanted to bring my usual update on the Mayor's Youth Group. We are planning a fun outing to thank our members for everything that they do for the township and all the township activities that they volunteer in. So we're going to get together on the 31st. We're going to go to Humdingers for 2 hours. It's a lot of fun. So we hope our members can join us for that. I also want to thank our youth group for being involved with the fishing derby last month and helping out with that. And that's about it right now. Looking ahead, we will be helping out with the township picnic at the end of August, on August the 26th, and also inviting them to participate in the Mayor's Walk on that same day, and National Night Out as well on August 1st. And that's all I have for now, and thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
Good evening. Nancy Murray, Pine Avenue. The other night I attended the planning board meeting, and it was there was a recommendation coming to you regarding an ordinance about cannabis, manufacturing specifically, and what it is recommending is that you own 2.5 times. You have like 5,000 square feet. They are recommending you increase it to 12,500. Well, I'm not that crazy about that size, and I don't know that it should be that big, but because the businesses they compared it to were completely different businesses. You compared it to U-Haul, you compared it to the truck company, you compared it to other types of business, not manufacturing of cannabis. But if you feel that that's the right thing to do, there was another piece of that was introduced at that time too, for the recommendation was that to have 1,000 feet between the businesses, like businesses, for manufacturing. And I think that's a really, really good idea, so that they're not congested all in one area. It would congregate people in one place. And I actually would like to extend that recommendation that you consider, that you put it for all 3 types of business: grow, retail, and manufacturing. That they can't be within 1,000 feet of each other. It would require a zoning variance. I think that's probably something that would be the best, at least I think, to keep those businesses so that they're not all just congested all together and causing more traffic or more headaches than what they could. So it's coming your way. It was in the planning board meeting. It's not with you yet, but I'm just mentioning it here tonight because I think it's really, really important that something like that is considered, that you keep spaces between those types of businesses so that there is a respite between them, and then there's not a congestion of them.
Thank you.
Just my opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
Good evening. Omar Rodriguez, Cyber. First and foremost, main reason why I'm here is to say goodbye to our friend Dominic Masson. It was very nice to have a moment of silence for him. He has dedicated all his life to this town. We'll see soon. We'll see you soon. But now that I came here to the council meeting, that usually I'm not attending lately, for obvious reasons. Usually I don't find the answers. But I'm surprised now that I'm sorry, how many minutes do I have? 3 or 5? 3? Okay. So I'm going to try to be wise and try to address some of the points that I just see. I just saw a bond ordinance for close to $3 million. I also are looking into an ordinance for certificate of occupancy, that if the trees damage the sidewalks and stuff like that, the homeowners will have to repair it. Why not the town, instead of imposing more taxation into the taxpayers, not to look for a commission, a shade tree commission, or somebody that can do the job, instead of just taxing some of them elder residents, or trying to look for more proactive ways. That takes me into another subject real quick, that I don't have much time. Chief of Police was vindicated, but unfortunately he's not coming back to Brook. That's a shame on all the people that have played politics with this issue. The reason I'm bringing this up is because at the end of the day, we the taxpayers are going to be footing the bill for these misnomers. Chief Kugler makes around $230,000. He would love to be back into his office, but politics do not allow him to come back into the office. Therefore, we're going to segregate him, send him into retirement, pay him to his late bills for all his late salary that he is awarded, plus someone else is running the town. What's wrong? It's a big misnomer for us, the residents. It's $230,000 that we gotta pay for someone that wants to do their job, his job, but he's at home. So either you council will have to wake up and smell the coffee and try to drop an ordinance. Because then what's going to happen then when Callaghan, Johnson, and Sitolo take the test in December, and one of them will become the chief? What about if one of them, after the test, decide to run for office? Is he going to be executed too? So then somehow the ordinance is going to have to be changed and reflect that we, the taxpayers, cannot afford to spend more money than we have to. So something needs to be done, and we got to learn this lesson then. This cannot happen in the future. Then, also, hopefully when the new chief, under the supervision of the mayor, of course, and then the new chief comes in, hopefully we'll see if we really need 3 captains. Because I believe that just 2 captains should be needed, not 3 at this moment. And on top of that is the prosecutor's office that is now 24/7 in there. Hold on, I brought, because this is a matter of life or death. Last time I was here, I brought the incident about the speed bump that is poorly reflected at night in Lanza Avenue. Needless to say, what happened? Big accident. Lady coming out of Coldwell, made the right, white Audi, and instead of pressing the brakes, pressed the speed, and took over the pole, the big pole. He ended up in the air, the lady rolled over. My question is, what's going to happen if that pole hits someone in the house and a kid get killed? The town will be like, and I said I'm going to say it again, that is a poorly designed speed bump. The same way that you guys just remove it, I don't know, it's kind of tall. You remove it in Lincoln and Liberty because they were complaining about the poorly designed speed bump. I believe that you gotta walk by or drive by and see all the marks on the street and all the oil every day that goes through there. And that is a problem. Just to finish, on the resolution number 3. No, yeah.
Mr. Rodriguez, we need to wrap it up.
But listen, I'm a taxpayer. What is your rush?
There's no.
Honestly, what is your rush? I'm not accusing anyone. My thing, listen, this is as a taxpayer, and I actually don't come just to throw things. I'm just
Hold on,
Yes.
I want to address something.
Yes.
You spoke about Chief Kugler, that's a legal matter, and I want our town attorney to address that right now.
Sure.
Okay?
We won't let
And then
that
you're done,
happen.
okay? You've been way over 3 minutes.
Okay, excuse me, you don't run the meeting, this is a council meeting. Excuse me.
Hold on.
We are renewing
No.
a contract with the business administrator for $300,000. For $300,000. This small town used to pay $5,000 a year with bill of legal. And now we pay $300,000, and they don't want me to say nothing about that. We are a small town. We can afford a salary of $300,000 a year. And on top of that, we are standing on the one saying that. Thank you very much. But listen, we are paying the taxes. You just imposing the time just because you don't want to hear about taxpayers.
I get it. We were here before the meeting. You could have spoke then too. We have other people that would like to speak. Thank you.
Through the chair, if I can just address two of the comments. First, regarding Chief Kugler, and this is a public meeting, and the council really cannot discuss any details regarding personnel. That being said, however, I think you're under a misunderstanding. Over the objections of this governing body, the police department is now under the guidance and control of the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. No decisions can be made in that office, in the police department, without their approval. And right now, it's their position that Chief Kugler should not be permitted to return to work. So it's not, I know your comments were being addressed, why is the governing body, that's right now, that decision is beyond the control of the governing body. So I just want to correct your statement that it's the governing body that's preventing him from working. It is not. That is completely inaccurate. As to the opportunity for citizens to address the governing body, by state statute and by the town's rules, their own regulations and policies, the meeting is open to the public. But there is a time limit, and I'm sure you can appreciate that, because if the public was allowed to stand at the podium and speak for as long as they wanted to, it would disrupt the order of the business and the ability of the governing body to take action. So they have a right to limit the public participation. Most communities limit it to 3 minutes. In your case, the chair was very lenient, and you probably had double that amount of time. So you were not being restricted at all from addressing the governing body. In fact, you were extended every courtesy by the governing body, and more than doubling the permitted amount of time that residents have to comment. And of course, you're always free to communicate outside the meeting. You're free to communicate by email. So you have every avenue in which to communicate your concerns, your disagreements, or your questions to the governing body. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Also, you can come back later on when we open it up again, because that's for agenda items only. And many of the items you were talking about are agenda items. So if you used your time more wisely, and you started with some of the things that you ended with, you probably would have had enough time. With being restricted to 3 minutes.
Anyone else wish to address the council? Seeing no one else, motion. Second. Roll call.
Councilman Sumlu? Yes. Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett?
Yes. Council comments, Mayor, we can start with you.
Okay. Regarding the budget, estimated tax bills went out about 2 weeks ago. Payment is due on August 1st. There's always a 10-day grace period. But if the tax collector does not receive the payment by the August 10th deadline, there will be interest that reverts back to August 1st. So make sure you get it in by the 10th. The municipal budget, we spoke a lot about that last meeting. The increase is $185 municipal side on an average assessment of $434,583. The increase is primarily due to inflationary issues, solid waste and recycling, insurance premiums, pensions, statutory allocations for the library, and contractual salaries. Council and I feel this budget represents what is needed to maintain services and continue our infrastructure programs such as the paving of roads and improving of parks. It also provides funding for hiring personnel due to retirements. Senior citizen homeowners 65 and older may be eligible for a tax freeze program initiated by the state. This program has been available for a long time, but please call the state's Regional Information Center, 201-791-0500 for eligibility requirements and additional information. That's 201-791-0500. We have some ordinances on here tonight. 3 of them are second readings. The first is fines increasing up to $250 for the first offense, $500 for the second offense, and $1,000 for the third offense. This is property maintenance fines. Second reading, also a no right turn on red right out here, Mayhill Street Extension, eastbound onto Mayhill Street. Also, the third one, which is a second reading, all property maintenance violations must be abated, including repair and replacement of sidewalks prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy or certificate of reoccupancy. Okay, the next one is a first reading to approve a handicap parking space in front of a resident's home on 7th Street. The resident had to file an application, which was reviewed and recommended by the police department. Last one is a bond ordinance, which was mentioned by one of the speakers here tonight. It's $2,890,000 for new replacement equipment, machinery, and vehicles for the DPW, police department, and municipal offices. Okay, we're going to go into our engineer isn't here tonight, but I want to go. There's a lot of projects going on right now, so I just want to give an update on that. Cambridge Avenue road improvements, which we have funding it's being funded by the New Jersey DOT grant in 2002. Concrete work should wrap up today or tomorrow, minus there's a few odds and ends that are not going to get done right away. But milling and paving is scheduled for mid-August. Congress Street, the contractor is doing concrete work now. Should be done next week. Milling and paving will follow shortly, not yet scheduled. The 2023 road program bids were received and should be awarded tonight to 4 cleanup. They won the bid. The contractor is looking to start in late August, early September. Projects to be completed this year. Alberta Drive, this is a 2023 New Jersey Department of Transportation grant that we received. Is currently out to bid. We expect it to be awarded at the mid-August meeting. Plenty of time for a contractor to complete the work this year. Midland Avenue and Hobson water main project, the bids were received today. Prices came in a little bit higher than anticipated, so we have to review and see where we're going to go with that. Speed humps, one of our residents came and spoke about that. We put out a survey on Sheppes Avenue. We did get the deadline to receive them was the end of July. The majority of the residents, not the vast, I think it was 34 yes. I'm sorry, 25 yes, 14 no. And then we didn't receive a lot back. We did reach out to some of the people I did personally that I know from the area, and it was half and half. They really didn't care either way. That's why they didn't return the survey. Also, I mentioned this last month, we're putting them on Strathmore Terrace. That was decided last year. Residents signed a petition requesting them. That was last year. And with all the work being done, the road work, we're going to get it done. Police department did a traffic study on South Broadway. It's another location that we get a lot of complaints about speeding. We're still reviewing the data, but preliminarily it looks like there is justification for a speed hump there, but we will go through the process of surveying the residents to see if it's something that they want. Rolling reassessment. Assessors from Associated Appraisal Group have been in the area, especially by Liberty, Lincoln, the Les Wings. The public has been notified via social media, our website, and our town TV. Also, the assessors have photo ID. If you're not home, they'll leave a card with instructions on how to contact them. Events, we had the fishing derby, as Thomas alluded to, on June 17th. I want to thank the Mayor's Youth Group, Boy Scouts, Saddlebrook Volunteer Ambulance Corps, Andy Gallo, our rec director, and my secretary, Christine Generario. The fireworks were Monday, July the 3rd. They went off real well. It was touch and go there with the weather, but we did get them in. I want to thank the police department, public works, volunteer fire department, volunteer ambulance corps, fire prevention, emergency management coordinator. Special thanks to Thomas Van Winkle for taking photos, Rafael Gonzalez for filming, and Tommy Purple Haze and Drums for Heaven for performing at the park. And again, we must also remember our vets, those currently serving and those who served for our freedom. Upcoming events, we have concerts, 2 concerts. I'm going to put up this poster. We made up these posters this year. Raphael. This is all, it's already on our town TV, the website, and social media. But last year, we got a lot of people said that they weren't aware of the concept, so we wanted to make sure, and we're going back to the old-fashioned printing out posters and putting them along Market Street and in businesses so that people see them when they go to those establishments. So there's 2 summer concerts. I hung it up, but it's next week, July 25th, 7 p.m. is Mushmouth here at the Municipal Complex, and then August 3rd, 7 p.m. is Forever Young. It's a doo-wop oldies band right here again at the Municipal Complex. We have National Night Out, which is Tuesday, August 1st, right here, starts at 6 o'clock at the Municipal Complex. The first Junior Police Academy is going to be August 14th through the 18th. They have 34 kids registered at this time. The Township Picnic is Saturday, August 26th, with a rain date of Sunday, August 27th. Residents can pick up tickets here at the Recreation Center. The Recreation Center is open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Also, the Senior Center and Saddlebrook Library during normal business hours. Just want to wish everybody a happy summer. It's been kind of wet and muggy, but hopefully the weather will get a little bit better. And I too want to bring up my good buddy Dom Mazzone, who passed away recently. And Dom was, as Omar said, he was part of the town for a long time, 65 years he lived in town. He was a planning board member, very involved in other activities as well, and he was a good guy. Anybody that knew him liked to joke around and needle people a little bit, but if he did that to you, he always meant well, and that meant he liked you. So God bless his family, and my condolences to them, and I hope to see Dom someday. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Akamoto.
I'm going to be short. I just want to wish everybody a safe summer. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Do come out on August 1st and support your first responders for National Night Out here at 55 Mayhill. And as far as the picnic goes, we're always looking for volunteers to help out, no matter what it is. It could be helping with vendors, helping to bring food to the seniors, handing out pamphlets, whatever it is, just helping out. And I just want to wish my son Gavin a happy 16th birthday. And enjoy, like I said, enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Sanchez.
I just want to touch on Dom too, because I recently met him. I didn't know him like a lot of other people did, but I did meet him last year, and he was always very, very friendly, always very nice, always had something to say, and you know, it's very sad to hear of his passing. And, you know, my heart goes out to the family. Sorry to hear about that. And I hope everybody's having a good summer so far.
Thank you. Councilman Samaluka, please.
Yes, thank you. The fireworks went off in spite of the rain. They actually made the call, which was a good decision, to start them 15 minutes earlier than they were supposed to. And they were able to get it in right before the real fireworks started in the sky, God's fireworks. So just to show that no good deed goes unpunished, got some complaints that we started it early and people didn't come, and some people were upset that they didn't see the beginning of it. It was the right call. Concerts are going to be a great thing next Tuesday, the following Thursday. Bands, 70, they start from the 50s in terms of music, 50s going all the way up to the 80s and 90s. Two bands, looked at them on YouTube, and they've got a good following, so we expect a good crowd. Come out, bring a chair, and hopefully we'll have more people than last year. And last year we had one concert, this year we have two. Who knows, with continued support from the residents and potential support from donors, maybe next year we'll be 3 or 4. We can have a series. The mayor had mentioned something about South Broadway. In my review of the speed data, it does seem that South Broadway had a higher average speed than some of the other streets in town. And I kind of thought that when I go down that street, it just seems, it's a wide street, and I believe that it may be the appropriate spot for a speed hump. Mr. Rodriguez had mentioned something about lands. I think that speed hump is designed in accordance with state regulations, so I don't know if that's any different than any other speed hump. I may be wrong. But you know, there may be scrapes on it, there may be some oil and things like that. Most likely because people tend to ignore it. I've been witness to going over a speed hump and slowing down for the speed hump and getting beat at. I'm sitting at a corner at a stop sign and seeing someone go over the speed hump, and they're going 30 miles an hour, and they did not slow down at all. And yeah, there was a scraping and some sparks flying. Just you gotta smarten up. It's a speed hump, and it's there for a reason. It's for safety of your safety, safety of your children, safety of pedestrians. Because one of our main complaints that we all get when we're stopped at the at a Krauser's or a Quick Check is everyone's speeding down the block. Everybody thinks that their block is a speedway. Well, although we can't, there's only certain things that we can do, and that's one of them. So that's why we had this committee, and that's why we've been trying to do that. We have a couple of, I'm fully in support of the ordinances. I do believe that the ordinance establishing new fines and the range of fines for violations, property maintenance violations, is appropriate, because I think some people just feel that it's the cost of doing business. But here, they're going to have to come to court because it is not a set fine. It's up to the judge. It's the initial fines range, and then if you got a second offense, it goes up exponentially. But you got to come to court, so you got to take the time to come to court, and it's in the judge's discretion. So if the judge sees a multiple violator, it's going to cost you. So again, all we ask is just do the right thing. It's not hard. It's not hard to do the right thing. A couple of the resolutions that we have a resolution of support that I had mentioned at the work session, and I believe that it is appropriate to extend the third round, or to put a moratorium or a pause in the third round of the COA obligations before the fourth round starts, to give it another 3 years to get set, because COA restrictions and requirements are very difficult for towns, and they could, eventually end up being very costly to the taxpayers. The other one is, I didn't realize that there's some governing body for firefighters, maybe it's an insurance, the underwriters for firemen, that put the age of fire trucks at 10 years. Well, I guess through their investigations and their research, they felt that that was too short, so they're extending it. They would like to extend it to 20 years, which would help with the bonding, and also this way that you can, right now you're prohibited from bonding for cars and station wagons. Now, I don't know if they even make a station wagon anymore, so I don't know where that comes into play, but this resolution, or this resolution is in support of some legislation that's out there both in the Assembly and the Senate to extend it to 20 years, and I think that would help the public. Lastly, again, like everyone said, condolences to his own family. He's been my pizza buddy at the last number of picnics, handing out pizza, just box after box after box, and he was a character, and it was fun working with him. So again, condolences to the family, and I wish Flo a full and speedy recovery. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I too would like to mention Dominic Mazzone. He was a good friend to many people up here and throughout the township. I know he was a very, very good friend to the mayor and to Mr. Rodriguez. He's a great man. On the planning board, gave back to the community. So I'd just like to acknowledge him and wish him forever peace. And then I'd like to also wish all of our residents a happy summer. Hopefully we get a little bit drier weather. Not so much humidity, because it's been rough so far. We're going to move on now to the ordinances. Thank you.
Ordinance 1736-25, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 154 of the Code of the Township of Southbrook entitled Property Maintenance.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 154 of the Code of the Township of Southbrook entitled Property Maintenance.
Motion to open to the public on this ordinance.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes. Anyone wish to comment on this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 154 of the Code of the Township of Southbrook entitled Property Maintenance is now passed on its second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Ordinance 1737-23, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 196 of the Code of the Township of Southbrook entitled Vehicles and Traffic.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 196 of the Code of the Township of Southbrook entitled Vehicles and Traffic.
Motion to open to the public for this ordinance.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes. Anyone wish to address the council on this ordinance? Motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 196 of the Code of the Township of Southbrook. Can't be timer on me. Does not pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Ordinance 1738-23, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 206 of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Zoning.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 206 of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Zoning.
Motion to open to the public for this agenda item.
Motion.
Second.
Anyone wishing? Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes. Anyone wish to address the council on this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Southbrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 206 of the Code of the Township of Southbrook entitled Zoning, does now pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
First reading ordinance 1740-23, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 106, handicap parking, of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook to provide for a handicap parking space in front of 142 North 7th Street.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council that an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 206, handicap parking, of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook to provide for a handicap parking space in front of 142 North 7th Street, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for a final passage at a meeting to be held on the 17th day of August, 2023, at 7:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Complex, 55 Mayhill Street. At such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, at the time and place when where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Ordinance 1741-23, a bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery, new communication and signal systems, new information technology equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, in the State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $2,890,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds to be passed on first reading.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional and replacement material and equipment, new communication and signal systems, new information technology equipment, and new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $2,890,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notice in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held in August 2023, or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Complex, 55 Mayhill Street, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when where said ordinance be further considered for final passage.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
And Council President Garrett.
Yes.
That's it for ordinances. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion or discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requested, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence reports, and approval of minutes and applications. The minutes of the June 16th meeting is not part of the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Okay, we have the minutes of the June 15th public meeting.
Motion.
Second. Motion, sorry.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes. Thank you. Old business?
Through the chair, I wanted to mention, there was a lot of talk about the speed humps, and it was mentioned about taking the speed hump off of West Wing. That wasn't, I'm sorry, it was Liberty, off of Liberty. And I want to say that Councilman Samaluka and I have been known to disagree on occasion, and that was one of those that he didn't agree with removing the speed hump. And I gotta say that he was right. That was a mistake. Taking that speed hump off of that road was a mistake. And I'm gonna tell you why, because the majority, I can't tell you how many complaints I got when we took it off. So there was maybe some issues with it being put on that weren't done correctly. Mostly, not that the hump was put on incorrectly or installed incorrectly. We could have did a better job, and we have been doing that, and since then, of notifying the public, asking their opinion, whether they wanted it, whether they didn't want it in front of their house. But that overall, that was a mistake. And you mentioned, Omar mentioned about the speed hump over on, not Franklin, on Lanza. First of all, I don't know about the accident, and I don't believe you're fibbing or lying about that, but I'm a little annoyed at my police department that I don't know about an accident of that nature, but I don't know about it. When did it happen? It can just a date around more.
Sure, I'll let you know in a minute. I have the pictures last.
Yeah. But anyway, let me just go on. It probably was a couple of weeks ago, but again, I was not aware of it. But that's another location. That's a school zone. If we would have removed that hump, okay, now that's we want to make sure that it was installed properly. I think it was. You say it's not reflectorized. There's a way.
Mayor, can I cut you? I
Yeah,
apologize. I did reach out to you. There was an accident on Caldwell where the apparatus from the telephone pole fell off.
Yes.
I spoke to the mother of the victim, of the driver. She said to me that there was a cat that ran across the street. It was nowhere near a speed bump, if that's the same accident. Was it an Audi vehicle?
It was an Audi black, a white Audi.
Yep, that's the vehicle. I spoke to the mother of the driver of that vehicle.
Oh, we were there. And she
Okay,
said
well, I
she-
spoke to the mother of the driver of that vehicle, who stated to me that a cat ran across the street. She swerved to avoid the cat and hit that telephone pole. So there was nowhere near any speed bump.
Yes.
I apologize, Mayor. Continue, please.
Okay, but what I was going to say is, if it is properly installed, which I believe it is, our engineer is.
June 26th.
Thank you. Our engineer coordinates, and he's the one who does the plans for them, and they're done according to the Department of Transportation guidelines and all. So I'm sure it was done right, but we can take a look at that. If it's not, then we got to correct that. But to just remove that, this whole room would be filled with parents. It's a school zone. It's a matter of safety over there. So that's enough about the speed humps. What else do I have here? Oh, I wanted to mention too, to the public, that we do, and this was mentioned by Mrs. Murray last meeting, and it got brought up tonight with Dom Dom was my alternate on the planning board. We really do need planning board and board of adjustment alternates. I think we're already short one on the planning board, and I know the board of adjustment, I think, is 2 now. So if anybody out there, it's a volunteer position, but if you want to volunteer your time and learn a little bit about the town and about zoning and help out, please reach out to Pete Ladico, our town clerk, and let him know, or reach out to one of us. And I think that our next meeting, hopefully, at our next work session, maybe we'll have some names that we can, because we really do need to, especially the Board of Adjustment. I know they need those 2 alternates. So I think that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else old business?
I just wanted to address something that Ms. Murray had mentioned about the difference, or the one business being a certain distance from another, and I've got a brain for it, so I can't think of the word. But in terms of the manufacturing, my understanding from talking to people and going to seminars and talking to not only people in the business, but some political people that are involved in this. With the manufacturing, there is no signage. There is little, if any, vehicular traffic. And I understand the worry about having a number of different things together, but in my eyes, the manufacturing of a cannabis product at this stage, I mean, again, it's a legal product. The manufacturing is probably no different than if you're manufacturing brake pads. You've got a manufacturing of brake pads at 101 Market, no, I'm not going to use Market, but 101 Route 46, and you got a manufacturer of brake pads at 103 Route 46. There's no one coming in and out, other than, I guess, deliveries for products and sending them out. But there is no retail. I totally understand the worry about if the distance between different retail establishments, because that's going to draw some foot traffic and vehicular traffic. But I don't think that really we have to worry too much about the vehicular traffic concerns for manufacturing. It's my understanding there is no advertising, there's no signage, there's not going to be a big sign saying, Joe's cannabis manufacturer, anything like that. So I heard that, and I don't think that's real concern, I don't want to put it the wrong way, not a real concern. If you have a concern, you have a concern. But in reality, I don't think it's going to affect traffic. I don't think it's going to be bad for the community to have a manufacturer located within 1,000 feet of another manufacturer. I mean, that's just my opinion from what I have heard in terms of what the manufacturing operations are like and what kind of traffic they draw. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman? Any old? And then we'll move on to new.
Just with the dispensary, when it comes to the committee we have, we're pretty strict with the people that come here. And what boggles my mind in this, not only in this town, but every other town, is that people are complaining, and not complaining, but worried about dispensaries coming to town, manufacturing, grow, whatever. But you have these little mom and pop stores coming, like the one right up the street, Legal Leaf. They come to town, other people come, these little mom and pops come, they sell the same thing that these dispensaries sell. They're not governed, they don't have to come before the zoning board, they don't have to come before the planning board. And they sell pretty much the same product as a dispensary. So if people start doing some of their, I don't want to say homework, I guess, would be, in other words, there's no restrictions for these businesses to come in, and that's where most of these kids are getting their CBC pens, their marijuana pens, their paraphernalia. They're not getting it from the legal dispensaries. They're getting it from these mom and pops that show up, make their money, and get shut down in a couple months or a year or two. So I mean, if people want to be concerned about something, don't be concerned about something legal. Be concerned about a business that's doing the same thing and not governed by the state or governed by the township governing body. That's it.
Any new business? New business?
You have new business.
Okay.
I would like to present a resolution tonight. Whereas veterans have served our country defending our freedoms at home and abroad, and whereas our veterans deserve the respect and admiration of every citizen of the United States, and whereas one way to recognize and show our appreciation for the sacrifices and contributions veterans made is by reserving parking spaces for veterans at our municipal complex. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that it hereby designates 2 parking spaces to be assigned appropriately for veteran-only parking. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments?
I just had a question.
Okay, we just need, he made a motion.
Sure, I'll second.
Okay.
But with that being said, with the motion and the second, I know that I myself have a handicap placard. I mean, you have to apply for it, you got to get doctor's note and everything. Is there a placard that a veteran would have, or would there be something that would be a sticker on the vehicle? How would the enforcement authority know that they are in fact a veteran?
I believe it's ID. I believe it's their military ID that states whether they're combat veteran, Purple Heart recipient. I believe that's on. Would that be right?
I get that, but that would be in their wallet, and that would not be, when the parking enforcement authority goes and looks, just like they go and see somebody without a handicap placard parked in a handicapped spot, they would issue a summons, or a special or a regular police officer. How would that person designate that vehicle as being owned and or operated by a veteran? So this way,
Other than
they would know.
Other than veteran license plates?
If I can, through the chair, other towns have done similar type of, or taken similar type of action. It's more of a courtesy and an honor system, because to your point, it would be very difficult to enforce because there aren't placards, there aren't permits. It's more of hoping that the public respects the veterans and that they see a sign that says parking for veterans only, and if they're not one, they're not going to take a space. I have to say, you have an abundance of parking out there, so I would think that, again, someone would park in an open space versus taking a spot designated for the veterans. But it would be difficult to enforce. Basically, if someone was not a veteran and there was a complaint, the police officer would then have to ask the person who took the space, do you have ID identifying yourself as a veteran? So, it would really depend upon an honor system. And I have to say, fortunately, at least the towns I'm involved in, it hasn't been an issue with respect to enforcement, because I think even when there is no parking spaces and that's the only space open, it will be left empty if there's not a veteran who's occupying it.
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
Okay. The state has veteran disability placards, like disabled veteran placards, and they also have Purple Heart placards. And then veterans can also apply for veteran plates through motor vehicle too. So that is another way to identify them.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call?
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Comando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Derrick.
Yes. Anyone else with any new business?
I just want to thank Todd for that. That was a really good idea for the veteran spaces.
I also did see I showed Pete, it was for a Purple Heart recipient. They actually painted the lines purple and they put a Purple Heart in the middle of the parking spot. So I know we do have a few Purple Heart recipients in town.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. Motion go open to the meeting to the public for agenda items only.
Motion. Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samuka?
Yes.
Councilman Comando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Derrick.
Yes. Anyone wish to address the council?
Yes. You find it? Okay. On O2, that's, please approve the resolution. 2, I just want to bring it up, how long more are you going to be reappointing this firm? When actually it's been a year already. And it's $300,000.
It's almost a year, but yes.
Yeah, so at the end of that, the terms will be,
You're talking about
A year.
you're talking about the interim DA, correct?
that is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. The point I'm trying to make, I believe the mayor and council are one or the other, are not trying to finally search for the proper candidate, because it's my recollection, in the last 30 years, mainly it's actually being the mayor or a part-timer, in this case, Pete Alico doing it for $5,000. Maybe the needs of the town are bigger now. You guys need a full-time business administrator, but since it's been a year, I believe that this should be the last extension of such a contract for the benefit of the residents and the town, and actually they should be the one leading the force of trying to recruit the proper people.
Mr. Rodriguez, we're in the process of setting up a committee that will meet, and we're going to be posting for the position and interviewing very shortly.
Oh, that's great to hear. Great to hear that. No, that's the point that I wanted to make. In 3 minutes, it's a lot of things that you can't say too quick. And on the speed bumps are great. I never said that you need to be removed from Lansing Avenue, because I just leave around the corner around that speed bump. What I was trying to say months ago is that it should be painted in a neon color or something like that, because we, the residents that live over there, when it rains, it's very hard to see it because it's uphill. But what about the residents that do not live in the area? Those cars are going to be damaged, and somehow the town have to be liable for some of those costs. And finally, Mr. Attorney trying to correct me, and I believe that he's wrong. What I was trying to tell the council is that we have to learn from the mistakes that happened just with Chief Kugler, that even though that he has been clear of all this, we the taxpayers, as you as well, have to pay out the cost. What's going to happen at the end of the year when the mayor called for a test? One of the 3 candidates is going to be the new chief. Can we put something in place for this not to occur again in the future? That's what I was trying to say. Because we have to live this as an experience. It's very bad, not just for the family, for the Cooler family, for the entire Saddlebrook family. All are at loss, but let's try to see if we can create an ordinance or something for any chief that is sitting. I don't know about this. If it's possible to limit, if he can campaign on that during his service, that I don't know, I leave it up to you, but I was just open up Pandora box there.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the council on agenda items only? Seeing no one, motion to close for agenda. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Simaluka? Yes. Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes. Any final comments, Mayor?
I'm good.
Anyone here on the council?
No.
Councilman Armando? Councilwoman Sanchez? Councilman Simaluka?
Just wanted to bring, I don't know if it's been brought up, our next meeting, our work session will be on the 17th, prior to a regular meeting. Normally would be on the 3rd, which is a Thursday, we're having a concert. So we are going to do our work session first, I believe, Mr. Garrett, would be 5:30.
Yes.
Then the regular meeting will
We'll
be
follow
shortly
up.
thereafter.
Yes.
Just anyone who's looking to maybe attend or looking for information about the normally scheduled day of the first Thursday of the month, it's not going to be then, it'll be the third Thursday of the month before the regular meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Simaluka?
Yes.
Councilman Armando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Council President Garrett.
Yes.
Not everyone.
Thank you.